Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise again to publicly share a few concerns in regards to this secondary plan. With all due respect, it is lacking foresight, fiscally and environmentally irresponsible, and will continue to perpetuate socioeconomic divides in our city. The lack of vision to increase residential density targets for the future of Winnipeg in this secondary plan is a major concern. For decades, we have seen how suburban sprawl directly and indirectly impacts and erodes the quality of our city services. With this plan, people living in central neighborhoods in the Point Douglas ward, downtown and others will continue to live with crumbling infrastructure and reduced city services. Their property taxes will be used to pay for our expanding city, not providing the much-needed maintenance and services to our existing footprint. With this development plan, Winnipeg will continue to fall further and further behind economically, socially, and environmentally in comparison to other major urban centres. We will continue to develop a larger city footprint that we cannot afford to build, service, or maintain. To support this project, we need a balanced approach to suburban sprawl development. For sustainable greenfield development, we must build effectively and efficiently using other cities' best practices for medium and high-density residential. To build new communities, we must think big picture, rather than create a problem we have to go back and fix. It is a concern that the secondary plan for the Airport Area West indicates the majority of housing will be low density, single-family, and row housing, with two small portions set aside for mixed-use, higher-density residential. Low density carries a much larger climate footprint and is not environmentally sustainable. Prioritizing low density will have significant long-term impacts on Winnipeg. Transportation is one of Manitoba's primary sources of climate emissions and air pollution. The continued expansion of low-density sprawl in Winnipeg will increase our car dependency and commute times for citizens and will continue to be a major contributor to carbon emissions. As decision makers for the future of our city, we must acknowledge the long-term impacts of these new roads on our city, including air pollution, climate change emissions, noise, delay from traffic congestions, and losses and injury from collisions. With this plan, our practices and policies will continue to subsidize and perpetuate the high civic costs and reliance on automobile use in Winnipeg. To create equitable communities in all corners of Winnipeg, it is important that density can be found in all areas of the city, ensuring housing and choice of neighborhoods will be available to all people regardless of income level. Higher density housing should not be exclusively for central neighborhoods, downtown, or older communities. We need to build complete communities that offer spaces for businesses, apartments, multifamily homes, and single-family homes. With density, the footprint of land becomes an investment for the city. We can build better communities, buildings with multiple residences with economic opportunities like shops and restaurants. And lastly, we must address the astronomical long-term costs to service new communities at the expenses of community services. When myself or fellow councillors advocate for much-needed community services support, improving our active transportation system, and developing recreational infrastructure, we hear the same answer over and over again: there isn't any money left. We cannot continue to expand our city services even further. It's irresponsible and impractical. Our plans and priorities for the city are reflected in our city's budget. If we continue to build more roads as one of our continued budget priorities, we will do so at the detriment of improving transit, community services, and green spaces. Community services will continue to languish with these types of suburban development plans. As of right now, we cannot service or maintain our playgrounds, pools, parks, and open spaces, never mind improving them. I ask that we do more for the future of Winnipeg. I believe we can be progressive. Our current plan is status quo: build low-density housing on the outskirts of our city. This is really poor city planning practice in 2021. Our citizens need more: an equitable housing supply, public transit, livability, parks and recreation, clean rivers and lakes, a sustainable plan for the long term. Yet year after year, we continue to create status quo greenfield development plans with minimal targets, expecting a different outcome. Suburban sprawl is expensive. Long-term, this neighborhood will be expensive. It will continue to cost the city more money and resources into the future. In conclusion, research indicates that if we actively curb low-density sprawl and support more density in new communities, in addition to infill, we offer an abundance of benefits to our communities, such as raising livability standards, environmental sustainability, support the mental and physical well-being of citizens, and of course, a host of financial advantages to the community as a whole. We must think long-term with these types of development plans. We are not building a neighborhood for today, but for the generations to come. Thank you.